Hello there. F9 for sure.
That's right. I'm about to monologue, son. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Alright, anyways, me knows that I'm not a big fan of the Fast Saga. Because after, the end of 4, they became ridiculous, and I honestly could never actually sit through 3, because it just didn't feel like the movies they were doing beforehand. It was literally a legit racing movie. The only legit racing movie they had, it just didn't meet the tone of the other films, so I just didn't care for it. But I don't like it when things go that are completely out of physics and that don't make sense at all. I am not a big fan of that. And in Fast 9, I gotta tell you something. Magnets don't work like that. Absolutely not. That is not how a car would react in space. They're designed a certain way so that way they don't fall apart. And it would have been crushed, pushing its way through the atmosphere. The front of the car would have been completely destroyed. Do people not realize how thick the atmosphere is? There's a reason why we have oxygen on Earth and it just doesn't bleed out into space. There's a reason why. We have a whole bubble protecting us. If the car was to go with a rocket engine shooting past that, I know they were on a plane that helped, but it's just, yeah. There's a lot of things that are wrong. I honestly, I'll say this, I have to get something good in here. The only great thing about this movie was the origin story of Dom and his brother. That 10 minutes of the flashback, because it was sprinkled throughout the whole movie. The 10 minutes of the flashback entirely, the greatest story throughout. I mean, a single father who has to raise 3 kids. He's a racer, teaches his kids are mechanics. That's a story right there. He dies in the race, and the kids have to survive on their own. They realize that Dom realizes that his brother was the reason his father, because the mechanics wasn't done properly. Yeah, his father, so they get in a fight. I mean, that's your movie. That right there is the best story. This other crap, I mean, bringing back Cypher, bringing back John Cena being the real bad guy. At this point, I don't know who's supposed to have killed Han. Honestly, stepping on the ghost of Paul Walker is making the movie even worse. I know you were a big friend of his and you don't want to pretend like he's gone. You want to honor him. This is not the way you do it. What you should have done is killed off his character. Honestly, 6 should have been the last one. Han died. Paul Walker died. Or Brian died, sorry. All these characters die off in the story. That it makes you... Because if you were going to continue, it makes you worried for who's going to die next. It really would. Because it's just like, all this stuff happens. It's just like, why the heck are you stepping on his ghost? Why? I mean, they make it even worse. Every movie, they're making it worse. I mean, they just referenced him beforehand. Every movie, they add more. They show his car driving up. They show an empty seat. They mention him by name, saying, oh, he's looking after the kids. In the next movie, they're going to bring him up in CGI like they did before. No, this is making the movies even worse. I mean, they're corny already. They're trash to begin with. I mean, the actors look like they've seen better days. I gotta say that. And honestly, I'm tired how they keep pairing up the same characters with the same characters. It's annoying because you know that characters would get killed by the other characters. Those personalities don't mix. You do that. You force them together to basically show, when people are put in situations that they don't want to be in. I mean, the first Hitman's Bodyguard. Great movie because those two people didn't want to be together. They were forced to be together because that's what they were required to do. So it's just like all these little things are just like, this movie is crap. I felt like I was being rear-ended the entire time. I was like, why is this movie trying to hit me in the head with the fact that it's trying to literally push all the barriers? Like, I don't know it is. Like, honestly, after 6, you would be worried about every character. If they would have killed off everyone, like Han remains dead. If they would have had Brian die. If they would have just had characters. But now they're going to the fact it was just like, oh, we know we're not going to kill off anyone. Let's have Roman, I think that's his name, the talking black dude doesn't shut up. He literally says, we're invincible. That's his entire joke throughout the movie. He talks about they're invincible. And of course, the others have to joke about him with it. It's just like ridiculous. Why do you have to point it out? He's literally shot 100 times by professionals. And honestly, when did these people become good with guns? When? Absolutely when? I never saw it. I have no clue. They're just proficient with firearms. They're proficient with technology. They're proficient with driving. I can understand the driving and being a mechanic, maybe, but it's just now they're great with firearms. Now they're great with computers. They hire on people. The only great joke in the movie was the nerd, the girl nerd, who was just like, this is be a late time to tell you, but I don't drive. I was like, okay, that's funny. She's being forced to, I think, drive a stick, but the freaking, and honestly, the magnets made no sense. Okay, in the beginning, like the first time they introduced the massive magnets, they were using it to jam all signals, right? All signals. However, when they're using those massive magnets at the very end to basically stop a truck that's uploading data files to a satellite, the magnets don't jam the signal. I mean, you can't introduce one thing here and then say, oh, but it just doesn't work here. No, it has to work the same way. And it's just, I was hoping they were going to kill off a Cypher because it was just like, what's the point? But no, she's flying a drone. I mean, there's all these little things. It's just like, why are they making Cypher, the one who just gives speeches? Because that's the thing. I had completely forgotten about that movie. Completely. And I'm sitting in the movie, and then they show her. And what she do? She starts talking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, what, 8 all over again? It's just like, this is ridiculous. I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan. And it's just like, I find it funny how now a lot of people who are fans are complaining about it. Just like, it's been like that since the beginning. But I can understand. At least beforehand, like 6, it was at least stupid fun. But since 6, well, during 6 primarily, because with the whole Brian situation, that ending was the worst ever. Since after 6, it's become more stupid. And then this one is just retarded. There is no redeeming this. It is literally the worst film I have ever seen to date. And I just saw the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife, the Hitman's wife's bodyguard. Yeah, which was an awful movie. But it at least didn't drag on for 2.5 hours of absolute nothing. And like the 10 minutes of the flashback was the only good thing about the film. The only good thing about the film. Oh man. Terrible movie. Don't watch it. Don't support it. Curse the movie as often as you can. Let it die. Let the series die. They should have learned their lesson. They should have ended it at 6, or at least just killed off Brian. They should have killed off Brian, because stepping on someone's ghost is worse than paying him respect. And I see you guys as stepping on his ghost. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Toodles. And one more thing. You're not able to steer with a steering wheel in space. It doesn't operate like that. How can you fly a car in space and use a steering wheel and your gas and brake? You don't. The way you operate in space, it's done via propulsion, like, because you have to, operate individually. It's a zero-axis turn. I mean, everything along the X, Y, and Z, I think that's what it is, X, Y, and Z axis, everything you have to control. And a steering wheel only gives you the X-axis control. How are you going to operate in space with only this? You need also that, and you need that. Everything. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, that's the one thing. It's just like, you're not making any sense. If they would have added a few more buttons, it was like, oh, they gotten rid of the steering wheel, and it's like levers. It's like, okay, that I can at least wrap my mind around, saying it's like they connected everything to something. But no, it's a steering wheel he's operating, and he uses the gas pedal to run into a satellite. Yeah. Toodles.